The general rule.
All right. Welcome to the Office of Police Ombudsman Commission meeting, May 21st, 2024. I am glad to be up here with my fellow commissioners, the Ombuds Office, and our attorney for the time being. Thank you all for being here today for this meeting virtually and in person. We'll jump right into our agenda. Any of the commissioners looking over the agenda, does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda for this evening, May 21st.
All right.
Yeah, I'll second. We're talking about the agenda from the last meeting, right?
No, this current
This current
one.
agenda.
Oh, current meeting. Oh, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
second it. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. All right. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Agenda's approved. And then now we're going to move over to the meeting minutes of April.
Yeah, I will move to approve the April meeting minutes.
I'll second.
All right. Yeah, okay. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that is passed. All right, we've moved into public forum. Do we have any citizens signed up to speak? Absolutely. All right. Well, they are no stranger to here, so come up, Anwar Peace, and you have the floor.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Anwar Peace, a 24-year police accountability expert. Using law enforcement as a tool for our city's homeless policies is not only morally wrong, but it also harms the true public safety. Our homeless neighbors face being crime victims at a 6 times higher rate than those that have addresses. But because of the lack of trust with police, their victimization goes vastly underreported. I've written about this lack of trust between our homeless neighbors and police in a chapter in this book, A Place to Exist, the true and untold story of Camp Hope and homelessness in Spokane by Maurice Smith. In my chapter in the book, I talk about the devastating effects of street sweeps of our homeless neighbors, which last year, SPD spent over $9 million in overtime, and most of that overtime was doing street sweeps. Our homeless neighbors also face 6 times higher rate of police abuse and police misconduct, more than those that have addresses. Which one of the reasons for this is that SPD still trains its officers in a flawed training philosophy called excited delirium syndrome. That phrase, excited delirium, is a made-up phrase by police to describe suspects of having superhuman strength and impervious to pain. Excited delirium is not listed as a medical condition, and if you walk into the ER right now asking to be treated for it, they would turn you away due to it not being recognized by the World Health Organization, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Medical Association, or the Royal College of Psychiatrics. In fact, the American Psychological Association position on the term is it is too nonspecific to meaningfully describe and convey information about a person, as well as the Royal College of Psychiatrics released the following statement in 2021, that they did not support the use of such terminology, which has no empirical evidential basis, and that the use of this term is, in effect, racial discrimination. Excited delirium became part of Americans' lexicon after the Rodney King beating. Originally, the police narrative was Mr. King was high on PCP with superhuman strength, but because he was trying to get up during this vicious beating, they called it excited delirium. When the toxicological report came back of Mr. King, no PCP was found in his system. The police changed their tune, saying that Mr. King had what was called excited delirium syndrome. This so-called syndrome states that sometimes suspects with mental illnesses or drug issues can become violent and have bizarre behavior, including insensitivity, and yet the term is not listed in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders or the International Classifications of Diseases. This term is offensive to those in the community struggling with mental health and or substance abuse issues. And this term is offensive to the BIPOC community since it seems police only tend to use this term with BIPOC suspects like Mr. King or George Floyd. To find out that this police department has been getting legal advice and training that excited delirium is a real thing saddens me and enlightens me on why SPD is the second deadliest police force in the nation. Street sweeps and excited delirium have greatly harmed our homeless neighbors, and so I'm happy to report that last month the National ACLU came to Spokane to work with our homeless neighbors who have been mistreated by police in an ongoing ACLU program, which I look forward to those legal redresses from the ACLU on public safety on this matter. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for that, Mr. Irwin Peace. 1 second, I want to see if any of the commissioners have any thoughts, comments.
I'm just curious, what ACLU program are you, or what is that?
So the ACLU reached out, the national organization reached out after hearing some of the issues that were taking place in Spokane, particularly dealing with our homelessness issue and particularly the homeless encampment ban that was voted upon by citizens this past year, where it states that folks can't they can't have encampments near schools or parks. This law, when it was voted upon at the time, the police chief said that they would not go forward with enforcing it because they just don't have the manpower. But the ACLU saw that and was so concerned they've brought representatives out here, and they're working with service providers to identify those that have been impacted by that law and other aspects of SPD's enforcement of other issues. And so that's an ongoing thing that they are planning on doing. I don't know the specific name of the program, but I can definitely try to get you in contact with those folks.
That'd be great. I'd love an update just to hear. I mean, it's always interesting to hear what's going on in the community. So I would be interested in getting that information later.
Absolutely. I'm reminded of a time back at Camp Hope when the police department and the city wanted to go and reach out to the citizens within the camp, and they came in uniform, holstered and all that, and I'm sure it was a very intimidating moment for those folks. You mentioned that there has been abuse, or there has been, I don't know if there's been policy problems in addressing the homeless. Do you have any more information on that as to what exactly the police have done other than intimidate and maybe create an uncomfortable situation? Can you shed some light on that?
Absolutely. So I can give you a couple examples. And you mentioned Camp Hope and the police efforts to go in and identify folks in there and try to present them with services. Mm-hmm. During the ramp up for that, police actually used their helicopter at a very low range to do surveillance of the camp, to kind of tactically map out the camp. I'm being told that those helicopter surveys over multiple days might have violated the FAA regulations. But as you can imagine, if you're somebody living in a tent and you have a police chopper that is coming over in such intensity, that would create a lot of frustration and whatnot. And so with that situation, one of the sad things with that encounter with police is when residents realized that police were going to come in there, that's when folks at the camp started to scatter and leave the camp. And so instead of having folks at one place where service providers could get them housing, locate them, have them sign documents, hopefully get them leases and whatnot, these people then scattered in our community because they were so fearful of what the police were doing. And at the time, our sheriff was talking a lot of wild, crazy stuff about what he felt like doing. And I will tell you, I've had several conversations with deputies at the time, and they told me that specifically if they got the order to clear the camp, like the sheriff was saying, they were going to not follow that order because it's not in police officers' jobs to destroy somebody's home. And so what was the other part of your question?
I don't recall what yeah, but
Just examples.
Just that one example is certainly interesting. It would be traumatizing to have a helicopter, a police copter overhead.
An example that I can specifically say that the Ombudsman's office has helped about, last year I was able to refer a complaint from a homeless individual that had been, in his opinion, brutalized. He had thrown a piece of fruit in traffic, and that was the probable cause for police to contact this individual. And in the video that was shown publicly, and what the news media saw as well, was this officer presenting with a taser out, threatening this individual with a taser. This homeless friend of ours, he had an empty pizza box in his hand and was not complying with orders. But the officer had his taser out, threatened to taser him. And instead of actually using the taser, the officer kind of, in my opinion, violated policy by holstering the taser and then advancing on this our homeless friend, and then going hands-on with him and literally, in my opinion, beating the bricks out of him. And that was something that this office dealt with specifically, and there's been quite a few of these complaints from our homeless that I've tried to facilitate getting into this office as well, so the Ombudsman can see what's going on with our homeless and whatnot.
And War Peace, appreciate it. Thank you.
And by the way, I would love to donate, if I can, a copy of this book to the commission. Is that appropriate?
Is it under $40? Is that our?
Absolutely, it is.
You can donate it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got the legal side.
Christina will come to accept on our behalf. And while she's doing that, we have Debbie Novak. Hi.
Hello, commissioners.
Hello.
Louie May. Just wanted to kind of give you some information on some things that are going on here locally, and one item across the state. But I just met with OII, that's why I'm running late, and tried to get them to come to meet you all. And they've met Louie May and they've met Bart, but I don't believe the commissioners have met any of the Office of Independent Investigation staff yet.
I don't believe so.
They're housed in Olympia.
They're coming by tomorrow to the office, and so no more than 2, because then it's a public meeting. But if commissioners are available.
And you said at 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really interesting to spend some time with them and to discuss, the new agency that, of course, they're working on. Because as far as I know, it's the only agency like it across the country. So they still haven't actually done an investigation which is what we're really hoping for. And I say we, the Washington Coalition for Police Accountability, SCAR, PJALS, and especially myself as an impacted family member, for the OII to get up and running. You know, so for instance, when there's a death at the hands of police, the idea and the hope is that OII will investigate. So we won't have that conflict of interest. And then they would be the ones that decide if charges, you know, would be pressed against that officer or not. And then the other piece of that is something that I've talked to y'all about in the past is the independent prosecutor bill. And of course, I'll keep bringing that up because we might as well start talking about it now before session next year. And it's House Bill 1579, which we are really working towards having an independent prosecutor for the entire state. And it would be housed with the Attorney General's office. And again, there was a task force put together from people from all walks of life across the state that it was a conflict of interest, you know, for us to have our local prosecuting attorneys, you know, deciding on the cases, of course, for a whole lot of different reasons. And then another thing that I wanted you to just be aware of and to be supportive of is that Jesse Saray was a young man that was killed on the west side, and his trial is going on right now in Kent, Washington. So I believe that's the first time in over 50 years a police officer in that county has been held on up against murder charges for that. But my husband and I went over there for opening statements last week. So that's very encouraging to see that piece of justice may be attainable, I guess, for that family. The other thing too is there is a group of us, and Anwar's been working on it as well, that on June 7th we're going to have a press conference in front of this courthouse on West Broadway. And on June 7th, as a lot of you may be aware, myself and a group of us march in front of the courthouse from noon to 1 o'clock. The march on June 7th, I believe, will be our 65th march that we've done. It's a remembrance march for my son, David Novak, and other impacted families come. And we're just hoping that you guys can support that and show up for that. And the main goal, or what we're doing there that's different this time, is that a lot of us are wanting to bring attention to and educate the public that Spokane is ranked as number 2 in the entire country, and we still are. I checked it over the weekend. I didn't check it yesterday or today, but I checked it over the weekend, and we still are ranked as number 2. And that's number 2 for deaths at the hands of police, and it's per capita, it's per our population. And that is very, very concerning for a city of our size to hold that ranking. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and it needs to be addressed. So that's going to be our main focus on June 7th. So we're going to have several impacted family members come and speak at the courthouse, and then we're going to have some other local organizations that are going to speak as well. But I hope to see you.
What time did you say again?
We usually march on the 7th day of every month from noon to 1 o'clock, but we're expecting this one to last till about 1:30. Yeah, it's an opportunity for others to show up. We have people that just show up that we don't even know, that show up and, you know, they've encountered excessive force, or they have a loved one that they've lost to police violence. And I believe they find it therapeutic to come and to talk to us, and then they'll ask for advice, like on public records, information on autopsies, how to get a second autopsy done, how to get funds for that. Yeah. There is an organization it's called Know Your Rights, and it was founded by Colin Kaepernick, and they will pay for a second autopsy to be done. They take care of all the arrangements as far as having a body transported, and they have, I believe, 6 medical examiners on staff of their own across the country, and they do their own independent autopsy. And then that person can be an expert witness if they need one.
Okay, so 15 seconds. Any final comment to Debbie Novak?
Thank you.
Just thank you for the invitation. I apologize. I would love to attend at some point, but I do work a day job, so I will keep in mind the 7th of the month, and when it happens on a weekend, I will try to attend.
That would be awesome. Okay.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Come again, you and Anwar. All right, so we're fortunate enough to, we were supposed to have Mayor Brown come and speak to us today, but something came up and she's looking to join us next month. And honestly, we lucked out because we got Maggie Yates to come and visit us instead today. So we only have about 9 minutes left with Maggie. And Maggie, if you can, just introduce yourself, introduce you and your role, and then I know you want to kind of talk about a few things, and then hopefully we have some questions.
Great. Thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to be here. As you heard, Mayor Brown unfortunately had an unforeseen conflict come up for this evening, but is looking forward to being with you at your next month's meeting and just wants to extend her appreciation for the work that this commission does and your service and leadership. So thank you. I serve as Mayor Brown's Deputy City Administrator. I focus on public safety priorities for the administration. And because the mayor's going to be here next month, I'll let her speak more to the agenda and our ongoing work. Happy to answer questions that might come up, but really just want to use the time tonight to share an update about the police chief recruitment process, which is currently underway. And we're hitting some timelines and deadlines coming up. So I think it's timely and definitely relevant to this body. The city has contracted with an outside recruitment firm that specializes in police chief recruitment called Public Sector Search. They are managing the posting and the recruitment. But the mayor did appoint a selection committee that is comprised of city officials and community leaders. And they are really the ones who are helping to facilitate the process and the review of candidates. So the selection committee will be looking at the final pool June, not next week, but the week after. I believe it's June 6th, but don't quote me on the date. And they'll be identifying the first round interviews and then conducting those interviews. Then we'll meet with the mayor and provide the selection committee's evaluation assessment to her, and she'll make the selection of the finalists, and then those finalists will come in person and interview internally. And then we're also in the process of establishing some sort of public panel for the finalists, so there will be an opportunity for the community to get to know the final candidates. In addition to the sort of formal process, we have hosted multiple community meetings focusing on public safety leadership, the police chief recruitment specifically, and community safety priorities generally. We had a meeting in each of the 3 council districts. We held one remotely, and we're also hosting some smaller, less publicized meetings with communities who've been uniquely impacted by contact with law enforcement. So we've had a couple of those and are still scheduling a couple more. All of the feedback from those meetings are passed on to the recruitment firm and shared with the selection committee so that we can make sure that that feedback informs the review of candidates and the process as a whole. And then finally, we have a survey that is right now live, and it's translated. It's available in English and then translated into Spanish, Vietnamese, Russian, and Marshallese. And that, again, is seeking input from the community about community safety priorities and then also what we want to see in the next police chief. And I should mention, I see Detective Duncan here as well, that there was an internal survey that was released for SPD personnel, and there was a very high rate of participation, and they had the opportunity to provide feedback about sort of the strengths of the department, where they'd like to see improvements, and then priorities for the next chief of police. And that survey was managed and hosted by the recruitment firm. So all of that information, again, is going to inform the selection process and the interview questions. The recruitment firm thinks that we should have a candidate, if all goes to plan, identified by the middle of summer, and then we'll bring them on shortly thereafter.
Well, thank you for that. You were on point.
All right. I've explained it a time or two.
Yeah. Commissioners?
Was the OPO asked directly for input on a future chief of police?
The police ombudsman sits on the selection committee, and then we also set up a one-on-one interview conversation with the recruitment firm. The recruiter had one-on-one meetings with relevant stakeholders, and the police ombudsman's office was one.
And just to let everyone know, the public safety survey is on the OPOC Facebook page. I've posted that.
Nice.
Great, thank you.
And just a second question: what have you heard from the community? What themes have been elevated to your attention?
Yeah, the general themes, I would say there's been a real push for broader safety investments in safe streets. A lot of people who walk to school or walk to work and want to make sure they can get to and from home safely, which is something that was sort of beyond, I think, what we walked into those meetings expecting. So it's just an example of sort of a more comprehensive understanding and approach and the strength of community engagement to help inform our priorities. In terms of the police chief and specifically, a leader of integrity, a leader who's able to be objective, holds officers accountable, and then also engage and specialize with specialized communities has come up again and again in these meetings. Trying to think of other sort of highlights as well. Budget management, recruitment experience as well. Retaining a qualified pool of officers is another thing that comes up often.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious if what the officers survey showed that they want in a chief.
Yeah, I haven't reviewed that recently. I think I saw some of the trend level data, but that's hosted by the recruitment firm, so that will be shared with the selection committee. Okay. Yeah, and I think that the feedback was there's sort of variety, but then also some points of convergence. So we'll have more information once that's presented to the selection committee.
Could I ask one more question? It's a bit of a pivot from the future chief of police. We have a couple guest speakers here. One in particular has asked or has approached the idea of homelessness and safety, public safety. Can you clarify for me what is currently the city's approach to the homeless situation? And and maybe going back to City Council has passed an ordinance, is that correct? That camping on city streets will not be allowed. Maybe expand on that, and then what will be the kind of what is happening currently with that? Enforcement, yeah.
That is a long answer, but I will give you, in the time that I have left, just a really high-level overview. I would say, first of all, that the administration is clear about the need for a multi-pronged approach, both in terms of community safety, but then also homelessness, which doesn't necessarily always have to do with enforcement. And so making sure we have a comprehensive approach. And Don Kinder is the Director of Neighborhood Housing and Human Services, and really would be the best expert if you're interested in the city's homelessness response. There are sort of requirements about posting signs that prohibit camping on certain areas and certain public streets. So we can get you that information, and then again, Don would be the best to speak to the details of the housing and homelessness initiatives.
Okay, I know you got 1 minute left. I do have two questions for you. So number one, you kind of touched on it a little bit. I think last year the police department was about $9 million over, and the previous year it was around $4 million, and my numbers could be off. But I guess what I'm getting at is we've seen increase amounts going to the local police department, but we've also seen them go over that amount. So I'm glad that you talked about having somebody in place that really has good budget management. I guess just looking further, how much has that been discussed as far as, where we're at with the police budget, and are there solutions that have come up so far?
Yeah, I think this group probably has seen and is aware of the city's tight financial budget reality right now. And so this is very much on the forefront of the administration's mind. We have been in very close conversation with SPD leadership and then also Police Guild leadership, identifying opportunities where we can achieve efficiencies based on sort of our current budget status and what we might be able to do in the future. We also have monthly meetings between the CFO, the city CFO, and police leadership. So that's ongoing and constantly reviewing sort of what the expenditures look like and what we're able to do and not do within the current budget.
Just one more question.
Okay.
Do I have it? Okay. So I'm glad that there's a selection committee. Full disclosure, I am part of that. Mr. Logue is as well. My question is, so with the fire chief, that got filled fairly quickly, and what we've heard from community is like, oh, are they going to just fill this position for the police chief, as well, without, I guess, the selection committee? And then I guess this is a two-parter, and I promise I'll let you go. The other piece is groups like SCAR. Is it too late for them to potentially join the selection committee, or have we looked at, the selection committee that we have right now to see if we have the necessary groups?
Yeah, the selection committee membership has been finalized at this point, but I have been in contact with folks from SCAR and offered to collaborate with a community meeting so that they can provide feedback, as well as other nonprofits and other organizations in the community. So if that's something that we want to talk about offline, happy to work on the logistics from that. The fire chief was just a different set of circumstances, and it was a change in circumstance where Chief Oberg reconsidered, and we're really delighted to have her on board. And so we're very much committed to going through the process that I outlined earlier with the chief of police.
Maggie H., thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for
the
opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can we put her information somewhere for folks to be able to reach out? Is that a possibility at all? Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, it's public.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so we're going to move right along to the OPO April monthly report. And Louis May, you have the floor.
Good evening, commissioners. So in April, we had a few things going on. We worked on budget, and one of the things we explored was grants. Christina has been in touch with the grants department. Budget is really tight, as you all know, and so we're exploring all options. So we're working to identify what potential funding sources we could apply for. As far as budget, we worked with City Council on a few things. Part of it was restoring our budget for this year so that we can attend necessary training. And so we're still working on that. The other thing that we were working on, and then we had to put a pause on, was making an ordinance change, and that was related to our office name, so that would impact the commission as well. And the city has a policy or something, I think it's a policy where all departments and names and ordinances should be gender neutral. And so, and it aligns also with a Washington State initiative to have gender neutral names especially ombuds versus ombudsman. So that's something that we're working on as a minor piece, but the big change we were hoping to work on was working to tie our budget to 0.95% of the police budget. And so that's would give us budgetary independence instead of our current situation where every year we have to kind of beg and plead for the budget that we have. So we've worked on that. I think the language is ready, but just the timing of it all didn't work out. So we are putting that on pause until there is a better time to do that. The other thing that we worked on last month was annual reports. You have drafts in front of you tonight. We worked a lot on updating the look of our reports to make it hopefully more reader-friendly. I appreciate the feedback we got from the commissioners. And then the other report that we've been working on is a peer review for the Office of the Police Monitor in New Orleans. Bart and I did a site visit in December, and as kind of our off-hour volunteer project, we've been working on the review for that office, and so I believe we are getting close to finalizing that. Another thing that we worked on was developing commissioner training. So we have Commissioner McCollum, who's not our newest commissioner anymore because we received news that another commissioner was appointed last night. So we want to bulk up the onboarding training so that commissioners, if they want to see what we do, we're kind of trying to see where the boundaries are and how much we can show commissioners and be involved in like ride-alongs and meetings with the police department. And so with Commissioner McCollum specifically, and this will be available to other commissioners as well, we are taking cases that we wrote reports on, closing reports, and we are taking the case file and the body camera and we're sending links. At least that's the plan for now. We'll see if it works, but that's what we've agreed to with the police department so that we can review, or you can review the case at your own time and then we can come back and discuss it. And that kind of gives you a look into the kind of work we do when we look at cases and make recommendations. So we are working on that. If anyone's interested in taking a case home, anything like that, reach out and we can get you set up. Another thing was we were contacted by a community member who was interested in becoming a volunteer for the office. I didn't meet him, but I believe he's a retired gentleman who wants to use his free time productively, and Christina and Bart met with him last month. And so with all of our volunteers, usually we have interns, but they're also volunteers, we run background checks that the city requires. So I think we're waiting to hear back from him, but he expressed a lot of interest. So if we do end up getting this volunteer, it'd be another set of hands and eyes on more work we could be doing with like community outreach or just, reviewing maybe like documents that we put out to the public. So we're excited to have a potential volunteer. Another thing that we've been working on for several months now is updating our marketing materials. And I think we're getting to the end of that. So the annual reports you have the updated logos for both the office and the commission. Very similar looking, but the commission has your own logo. And we haven't updated our materials since before I started working here in 2015. I'm pretty sure there's still a picture of former council president Ben Stuckert in our materials. So it's good to update the materials and work with a firm who designs these types of things. And the mock-ups I've seen look really good. So that kind of helped inspire just kind of overhauling all of our stuff. So this is the official launch, I guess, for our stuff. So starting next month, you'll see more unified branding across our stuff. OPOC attorney, Tim, thank you for coming. We are working with legal to put out I forget the alphabet soup. Oh, scope, yeah. To create that so that we can put it out. And Christina met with someone from legal last week for exactly like what we need. So we are working on that. That's still ongoing. And then the last thing for the month is we had an officer-involved shooting. So that makes 5 total for the year. This one took place at Shadle Park in April. Just a little bit of information. As a reminder, we only know what the public knows. That's put out in public releases. So this information you may know already. So a victim attempted to tow the suspect's car, but the suspect objected and tried to stop. There was a knife and then a firearm involved. Officers identified the suspect and developed probable cause when they learned that the suspect wasn't allowed to have firearms. Suspect was located running towards a ongoing baseball game at the high school. Officers pursued past the baseball field, and the shooting occurred at the edge of the campus. 3 officers fired, and the suspect was struck multiple times. We tried to get an update today, and it's unknown if the person survived. And so that is what I have for the month of April.
That's what you got to end us with.
Yes.
Oh, man. Commissioners?
We can't find out the status of the person that was shot.
We don't know the status. So we asked the police department, and we don't know. Do you know more information?
He's in jail.
Oh, okay.
Alive. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That's all I needed to know on that part. I think I got a question regarding the OII. I don't know if this is the right time to do that or not, but is that something that the state legislature approved, passed legislation recently, or was that done a year ago?
I believe they were passed not this year, but last year, maybe in 2021.
Okay.
I know it's taken them some time.
2023.
2023.
Okay, and they have not.
20 years ago.
3 years ago.
That's why I'm confused. And they have not
So
been
2021.
operational since then.
They are still setting up, so I believe they haven't conducted their investigation yet.
Okay, and I guess if I'm not able to attend that meeting tomorrow, that's why I'm asking these questions now. So that most recent officer-involved shooting at Shadle Park area or Shadle High School area, would that be something that they would look into possibly, or is it only if there's a death involved by an officer-involved shooting?
I'm not sure. Do you know? So it would be? Yeah, so it would replace Sear? Okay, yeah. So officer
And
involved
it's up to
shootings.
that group to decide what they will look at and not look at.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it probably depends on their staffing. Yeah, these are questions I'll be asking tomorrow
okay.
as well.
Yeah, and I'm really intrigued. I'll do my best to be there tomorrow.
Detective Duncan, we should probably just give you a slot.
Yeah.
And they do get called now. So at that Shadle shooting, they were called and notified, but they just don't have the staff to come out. But we are currently, that process is in place for them to be notified immediately, so.
But the Washington State Patrol is doing the investigation, I think, for that one.
I don't know offhand. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, thank you for that. On a lighter note, I will say this is very visually appealing. I was more, I usually read them, but not with as much excitement as I did today. So, thank you for taking the time to get that branding done. I love the logo. And realistically, I think our overall goal is to make this more digestible, right? To make this more inviting for community, because we want to raise awareness about what's happening. So, I joke with the branding, but it really is very important, and it's nice to see.
I'd like to piggyback on that. I just looked at it before the meeting, and I wrote down easy on the eyes. I like the examples of what things mean for the consumption of the public who might want to look at this, because it's more inviting. And I like the links for further information. I don't think we've done that before, have we?
It's in there sometimes, but
Yeah.
we have a QR code this time that takes you to the full summary that we used to put on the back. And the goal was to pique the interest of the reader. And if you want more information, we have links. And if you want more than that, reach out to us, and we're happy to chat with folks.
Because there was some, I recall right now, it's not that important. It was, to me, looking at it, like, oh, I want to go to that website and take a look at it. So it worked.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't know what they looked like before. I'd read stuff online, but I thought it looked great. And honestly, for me as a new commissioner, it had a lot of great information. So I kind of am that public that you're talking about, because it's a little newer. And I thought that it was really clear, and I got a lot of really good information that will inform going forward. So thank you for the hard work that you guys obviously put into this. It looks really good.
Thank you.
So really quick, just kind of going back to, obviously earlier we heard about being number 2 in the nation in regards to deadly force. We talked about 5 officer-involved shootings this year, and you mentioned knowing what the public knows with this most recent officer-involved shooting. So, what can we do right now to just get an expedited view of what's going on? How can we get the information sooner, in your opinion?
Yeah, so our lack of access was kind of an unintentional consequence of I-940, I believe it is, from 2018, because the desire to have independent investigations meant the agency who had a shooting, they can no longer be a part of it, and that was how we were getting access to information. So with this Office of the Independent Investigator, we'd mentioned this kind of unintentional dilemma that we have I don't know his role, but the guy who oversees the office. And he agreed that it was an interesting problem, and he expressed an interest to work to finding a solution. So we're meeting with them tomorrow, as we had mentioned earlier already. And so it's something that I'll bring up, because at this point it seems like that would be the solution. I think with the current, before the OII came into existence, with the SIR team, it became an issue of we don't have access or a point of contact with Washington State Patrol or the Sheriff's Office. There might be another agency that I'm missing, but we don't have that created path. So with this new office, we're hoping to create that pathway so that we have an agreement. So whatever that means, being a MOU, or I don't know what the answer is, but it is in our ordinance as something that we are supposed to be doing. So we'll work to figure out a solution on that end.
Okay. All right, anything else on the OPO monthly report or the annual report?
Are we ready to vote on that then? Do we have to?
Did you have any?
I haven't presented yet on the
Oh, the
annual
annual,
report.
my apologies. Go ahead on the annual.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about the look of it. So now let's talk about the substance a little bit.
Yeah.
So themes of the year, and this is echoed in the OPOC report as well, but the last bargaining contract reduced our authority to conduct independent oversight, and then budgetary constraints that we've discussed many times in previous meetings. And so trying to find the solution, we think that that can be fixed in the next bargaining contract, and Bart will spend his time and efforts to try to get back to where we think we should be with our authorities under the contract. As far as activities from the previous year, there's a general increase in citizen contacts, letters of appreciation, and commendations that we submitted to the police department. That's both from the public and then from our office. After we go on ride-alongs, we'll send letter of appreciation to the officer for their time. We had an increase in cases certified, OPO interviews of potential complaints, oversight of IA interviews, and then special cases reviewed. So those are uses of force, canine, collisions and pursuits. And then there was a slight decrease in community events, referrals, meetings with SPD, and SPD review boards. As far as reporting, we do monthly reports, so we did 12 of those. We had our annual report, but for closing reports, we had 5 last year, where we had 13 recommendations. 8 were implemented, 1 was partially, and 4 were not implemented by the police department. As far as complaints, there was a general decrease, about 13%. There were 77 total complaints, 36 of which were generated through our office. And this is the same every year. The most alleged allegation is inadequate response and demeanor. Outside of that, the next most allegation is excessive force and biased policing. There were 34 total allegations made, but 27 of those were closed, meaning they were reviewed and disproven by body camera, or after doing a full review, the IA lieutenant and myself or Bart agree that it's unfounded, exonerated, or not sustained, and then, or administratively suspended. As far as statistics of interest, it remained relatively stable from last year. The metrics we track are non-deadly use of force, which has seen an increase, and the numbers are small, so these percentages exaggerate the change. But from 2020 through 2023, there was a 20% increase. Critical incidents last year, for the year, there were 2, so that's below the average compared to this year especially. We're already at 5. We've tracked pursuits, preventable collisions. Those are up 21% from 2022, but compared to 2020, it's up 106%. And then officers' response to calls for service are up 8% from the previous year. And that is what I have for you for our annual report.
Anything?
Yeah, thank you again for your hard work on all of that. And yeah, appreciate you.
So I will say it does kind of sound a little daunting when I'm hearing that there's, what it sounds like is increases all the way around.
Yeah.
and match that with the shootings and the major deficit. I don't know. I think, we need to figure out ways to be able to head in the right direction in the city.
And like as an example, like non-deadly use of force, I said that went up 20%. In 2020, that was 71. And then 2023, there were 85. So we don't want to see those numbers increase, but our numbers are very low. So just a slight change changes the percent a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for your updates.
Can I ask a question just real quick?
Absolutely.
I guess my question is just, so 13 recommendations were made and 4 weren't worked on. Are those 4 currently being worked on, or what is the status?
So those 4 were not implemented. So the police department reviewed our recommendation and then said they weren't going to implement it.
Okay, and just for historical comparison, in years past, has it been similar? It feels like 4 out of 13 feels a little bit high, like of a percentage to say, no, we don't think that, when it's been looked over so much. So I'm just curious if that's more than years past, or do they usually do the recommendations Barton, you make?
So I don't have the previous numbers, so I don't know exactly, but I feel like they usually try to accept them. There's probably 1 or 2 maybe every year that they'll say no to, or they'll like do a partial implemented, partially not implemented. But 4 is probably high compared to previous years.
I guess I'd be interested to know the why on those 4, on the ones why they would think that those recommendations wouldn't be implemented, but maybe we can talk another time about that. I have a lot of education still in a lot of this stuff, I freely admit, so.
Yeah, so we do post the chief's responses on our website, so you can, for the public, and then we can chat as well, but they provide the reasoning on why they accept the recommendations or not. And most of these recommendations have to do with the review process of a use of force or a complaint and kind of how it goes up the chain. I think those were the majority of the ones they said no to.
Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do right now is we're gonna go individually for the OPO April monthly report, and then we'll vote on the OPO annual report. So. Do I have a motion to approve the OPO April monthly report?
You actually don't need to.
Oh, no?
Nope, it's just the annual report.
Oh, okay. So?
But for is it OPOC annual report and OPO?
Correct. Okay. So after you discuss the OPOC annual report, then you can vote on that, and we can do that.
Perfect. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the OPO annual report?
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. It's moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All right. That's passed. Okay. We're going to head into commission business. And listen, I'm glad, Louis May, you did a fantastic job. Okay, time-wise, I'm gonna try to get y'all out of here. Okay, we're gonna get the information that we need, and we're gonna also go home and watch our shows or whatever else we do. So the OPOC annual report. I know my face is in here. We actually have a really cute picture. All of us, we look like a family here. I wish you all could see it. you know, I will say, even though my picture's here and it says my name, this was all the OPO, and I appreciate y'all. We really we told the truth. We talked about really being ignored during the contract negotiations, how we were doing our due diligence and sharing exactly what we need to be able to do the independent oversight that folks overwhelmingly voted for. And it was as if we never even said anything. So that is in this letter. We talked about making sure that our budget, because we had to cut our budget. And again, we could talk about, and this is me speaking as a chair, we could talk about equity versus equality. When we only have like $2 in our whole budget and you tell us, hey, you need to cut, it hits much deeper with a smaller budget than it does, a much larger budget. So I know the whole equality thing is like, well, we asked everybody to take out the same amount. It has different impacts, especially when we didn't have enough funds to be able to do what we need to do in the first place. So that is called out, in the letter, and also talked about OPO recommendations, because it doesn't make sense, right? That's in this letter as well, as far as how we go through with recommendations that our ombuds work so hard to be able to go through and make sure that again, folks are being safe. So that's the letter. It got lighter as far as the overall report. 2023 was a great year. We actually, I think one of the highlights is we had a panel. Then President Beggs was here, Pastor Kendricks, the police chief at the time, Craig Meidel, and Sheriff Knowles joined, and I thought it was a really great discussion, but it showed just kind of what we were trying to do in 2023. We were trying to get interested individuals to come up and talk and try to come to solutions. I think the other big thing that happened this year is Detective Duncan has been here. Like I said, we probably should just give you a segment in these meetings, but they were able to travel to the NACO conference, and him and Mr. Logue did a presentation, if I'm not mistaken, and that's really cool. That's cool for other places in our country to see just how well the ombuds and the police guild are working together, because ultimately we all have the same goal, right? To make sure everyone is safe. So I think, and we talked about our community engagement and training, but overall, subject to any questions or thoughts, comments from commissioners. I would entertain a vote.
Just like I said earlier about the OPO report, this one as well, easy on the eyes, example of what things mean. I appreciate your letter that you wrote, and links. I don't think we've got links in this one, but graphics and information is easily digested by the public.
I just again have one question, which is on the 2022 recommendations, and it says that there is a prohibition on striking handcuffed subjects and that it's in progress.
Yeah, so the department responded that they would work with our office to come up with language, I believe, for their policy on what that should say. And so we just are still working on that.
Okay. I guess I'm just curious because it's, 2024, so.
I'm sorry, you keep looking at me, so I'll come up.
I'm like, I'm sorry,
When we talk about
Yeah.
the recommendations, and they is the chief of police. So
Okay.
I don't have any involvement
Got
or knowledge of why things do or don't get accepted.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to look at you.
No, yeah.
You're all police representative, apparently, for me.
Yeah, we're all lumped together all day, but
No.
I can't think of a single recommendation that the ombuds have made that we, the guild, have had any issue with. So.
Right.
But we don't implement policy and procedures, and the chief may have very good reason why he has not implemented some of these or fully implemented them. I just really couldn't speak to that, so that might be a good person to invite in.
Yeah, that feels like kind of a given, like that you shouldn't hit or kick somebody that's already handcuffed.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we learned in that case was there's nothing in policy that specifically prohibits that. And so we just wanted to close that loophole and say specific or explicitly that that's not something that you should do. There are always exceptional circumstances, but as a general rule, that's not something officers should do.
Agreed. Yeah.
Thank you for pulling that out and highlighting that. Anything else in regards to the annual report, OPOC annual report?
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2023 annual report for the OPOC.
Second?
Yeah, I can second. Sorry.
All right, there's been a motion and a seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we have approved the OPOC annual report, and we got two more things. So summer community activities and schedule. Christina, the floor is yours.
All right. So as we're coming into summer, what I've done is I've listed out a couple of events that you are welcome to attend as a commissioner or as a community member, whatever you'd like, or not at all. It's completely up to you. But I wanted to make sure that you're aware of them. Expo 74, the 50th celebration powwow at the Falls, May 25th and 26th. Spokane Pride and Rainbow Parade is June 8th. I did reach out to them to see, it looks like they have closed registration for booths. They are at capacity and have a wait list, which is great. And then we have National Night Out. This is, I don't know, basically it's a way for the community to become aware of what officers are out there, what first responders, things of that nature. They have block parties. It's a lot of fun. I think Jenny Rose attended like 4 last year. They're all throughout the community, and once those times are finalized, I can send that out to you guys and you can attend. There's a lot of parties at apartment complexes and parks and things. It's a great time. And it definitely helps get our name out there. Yes, sir.
Just curious, is this in our packet at all?
No,
okay,
I will
so
send it. Yep.
Okay.
The one that we usually try to man as far as a booth goes is Unity in the Community. And that is on August 17th. And I don't know if I said National Night Out is August 1st. Unity in the Community, August 17th. If we want to do a booth, there is a cost with that. And then we just like to have some representation from the OPO, the OPOC. We can get down that path a little bit later, but I just want to get you guys thinking about this. Great opportunity to get out there in the community to speak to people. Lots of fun things happening this summer, so definitely we can get out there in our capacity and just let people know that we're available. We should have some new merchandise, like brochures and things to hand out, which will have our new logo. that's really what I have for the summer events. We do have some scheduling that we want to talk through for the OPOC meeting. So generally we have, is it July off? Like it depends on what you would like. But so we generally take 1 month, sometimes two. I think last year we did June and July, but it just kind of depends on what people's availabilities are. I will not be available in July, but that does not mean that you can't have a meeting. So I just wanted to put that out there, and let's maybe get a finalized schedule for summer.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice, especially with another commissioner joining us, if we all, if you could, provide that list, and then maybe we just divvy it up. Maybe each of us pick an activity or two, so that we could just have representation at all of those. Yeah. How do you feel?
I will get that list out tomorrow.
So you just need to see the list and the dates, and then
perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, and then do we need to make a motion right now for the unity and community? Do we have a?
No, they actually. We would just have to register by next month. It looks like. So, let me get the specific.
Community or unity in the community. I would certainly be willing to be at the booth, the information booth.
Great.
Yeah, and I think we can approve that.
Yeah, I can be there for part of the day too, I believe. I'm just checking right now, but I think it's fine.
Okay, so August 8th is registration closing, so we're good to go with that. And then the time frame, it's a Saturday, and that's 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And again, what I'll do is I'll put together a little sign-up thing, so that's great.
Awesome.
Are we at the point where we're going to talk about the next meeting, June, or are we scheduling that then? Is that a firm date?
That is something that we should probably look at is June, July, and August as far as like just making sure that we're set, or if we want to.
Well, since you have historical knowledge.
Here's my thought. We're getting a new commissioner, and we have one that's now has 2 meetings, and I would be in favor of keeping the June 18th or with some flexibility if we need to, but we have a new commissioner coming in. We hate to have that person wait until September for the next meeting.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so after June 18th, there would be July 16th. July 16th, and then August 20th. Those are the next 2.
July and August are tough.
But I'm also, I agree with that. I'm also thinking about what was said earlier about the interviews for the next chief of police. And will this body be wanting to weigh in on anything but maybe skip July and do August?
I think if Maggie's right and there's a chief being picked around that, I don't know. I think that, if July, she's not going to be here, and in August, if you can't be here, we still would have enough commissioners to have a meeting, correct?
Yep, you have to have 3 commissioners to have a quorum, and that now we are fully staffed, so with commissioners, which is a long time coming. I know.
So we'll skip July, we'll do August, and then we're going to keep June 18th.
Yep. So the only meeting that I show canceled is July.
But for now.
For now. And that can be changed.
Something comes up, but we have that flexibility to still have a quorum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Great.
Well, that sounds good. Well, we're at Commissioner Speak Out.
I'm fine for tonight. Thank you. I'll pass.
Well, thank you all for coming. What do you got?
How strict are we going to be? Can I just talk for
Yeah, go ahead. I promised everyone I'd get them out.
I'm squirming in my seat. Just in regards to your question, Commissioner Smith, about public or the records being released, I believe you had asked when the records are going to be a public release when there's been a shooting to the information, the body cams and so forth. And I'm saying this as a mother who's lost her son, and for other impacted families, I can't tell you how hurtful it is when we don't get that information. And I've really researched this. And there is a WAC, and I don't remember, exactly what the number of it is, but the records are supposed to be released to the general public once the investigation has been released to the prosecuting attorney. I have never seen that happen. I have never seen that happen. And I've talked to the city council. I've had a conversation with Mr. Beggs about that as well. And they are supposed to be released. Now, I don't know what the disconnect is, and I don't know if maybe Detective Duncan, you know what the disconnect is, but I can't tell you how hurtful that is to a family to not have access to that information. And then as far as Initiative 940, it does state that there is to be an update given to the family once a week. The update usually is that there is no update. So I have a hard time with that. I know other families have a hard time with that. So try and imagine that for a year and a half, 2 years, the update is that there is no update. So you're doing nothing. I feel like Initiative 940 is kind of used as a scapegoat on some of that. And what Initiative 940 does say is that before that agency can release any information, the agency that was involved, that they are to contact the investigating agency and get permission on what they can release. It doesn't say that they can't give an update. It says they have to get permission, and they're not doing that. But I just wanted you to be aware of that in your travels if it comes up.
And you brought this up to City Council at a previous meeting?
Yes, and I've testified about it at the legislature.
Any response from them, or any clarifying thoughts?
Just that they agree that I'm correct.
Yeah.
I'm correct in my research is the only response that I've gotten. Yeah, that I'm correct. So I don't know if that's a disconnect coming from the city or the county or the prosecuting attorney. I don't really understand what their disconnect is, but they're not releasing that information to the families.
Is that something, Ms. Almana, that our office can look into or find out who we could talk to?
Yeah, and so figuring out where that disconnect is, if it's somewhere in the city, that's something we can make a recommendation towards. A previous report that we did made a recommendation on when, and I know you mentioned this is for the families and it should be released to the families, but our recommendation was around public records requests. Previously, or what we saw in the case we wrote a closing report on, was that public record requests were denied because there was still an ongoing investigation. But as Debbie said, once the case is turned over to the prosecutor, there's even case law on that's releasable once the administrative investigation is complete. So that's a recommendation we've made to the chief, the police department, so we can follow up on that aspect.
I really think it would mean a lot. You know, it would mean a lot to families. I've been told before that it's because they don't have the Deadly Force Review Board investigation piece of it done. I don't know. I've just heard a lot. Or the prosecuting attorney hasn't made his determination yet. That's not what the law says. The law says is that once the investigation has been delivered to the prosecuting attorney, they are supposed to release those records. So, fix that.
Well, I'm in disbelief. I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you. That will serve as our commissioner speak outs. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
All right. The meeting is finally over. We're done. We're adjourned. Next meeting is June 18th. Hopefully see you all there, starting at 5:30.